Dear Lori, I understand what you are saying about kids being stressed out and then having reactions and misbehaving, but sometimes my daughter is not stressed and still is defiant or won't stop her misbehavior, even though she was asked nicely more than once. She will be perfectly calm and outright refuse or ignore what I am saying, or she will get very angry without being provoked. For example, the other morning we were having a pleasant start to the day, nothing out of the ordinary, until I reminded her to get her science project, put it in the car so that she wouldn't forget it. And at first she didn't pay any attention to me. She just ignored me. She was sitting at the table having breakfast, and when I asked her about it again, she threw her book bag and screamed at me to do it myself. There was no stress. I didn't yell. I didn't make a demand. I simply reminded her of something important, and she reacted with angry defiance. I asked her not to throw things and please pick up her backpack, and then she threw the book that she was holding. What stress was she reacting to? It seems I could have done nothing different and that she would have reacted that way no matter what. She deliberately made a choice to throw her books. What do you have to say about that? Molly. Okay, Molly, let's talk about this because I can absolutely understand how infuriating it might feel to have, be having a nice, easy morning and then to be blindsided by a behavior that seems out of the blue, especially when you think that you've done everything that you can to be kind and gentle. But I want you to look at it because that behavior was not as out of the blue as you might think. Stressful situations do not always produce obvious signs, and sometimes we can confuse being kind and gentle for insisting on compliance or control. Kindness helps you connect with another person's world. It doesn't manipulate people into doing what you expect. And it can confuse us if we think that our kids are only reacting to us or defying us rather than reacting to their own internal state. So what stress looks like and feels like for your child may be very different than what it looks like and feels like for you. Stress can be invisible if you don't actually know what you're looking for, or if you're focused on what you see and that behavior rather than what you actually intuit. Just from what you told me, I'm wondering if maybe your daughter wasn't already internally feeling the pressure to perform, to be good enough, or the need to succeed with her project. Or maybe having some fears about not having done a good job or being judged, or even she might be worrying about the fact that she had to present her project. She may have never expressed her need to feel prepared or competent or her feelings of worry, but these feelings could have been easily overwhelming her, and your request was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't you, it was timing. Lots of parents come to me with absolute proof that their child wasn't stressed and made a cognitive choice to just be defiant. But I want to remind you that your child in those kinds of moments is not connected to her higher thinking brain where she can rationally and logically choose or prepare. She's actually having an emotional experience, and depending on her stage of development, the state of your relationship, and her coping skills, she may very well rely on the lower parts of her brain to get through a stressful moment. Her reaction was an opportunity for you to connect with her about what was really going on inside. So instead of reacting with your rule-based logic about what comes next, pick it up, don't speak to me that way, get a hold of yourself, you might want to try connecting with your empathetic brain, your right brain, and just listening. You could say to her, wow, I wasn't expecting that response. And then wait to see if she offers more information. That was her opening, asking for relief, for connection, for acknowledgement. It was a poor strategy, but strategies can be tweaked once we're connected. Now, if she doesn't respond to you, you could continue with, it's not like you to throw things. I imagine you're feeling pretty strongly about something. And then wait again. Or you could try, I'm here if you want to talk about it. Or be light when she isn't able to. Oh, I brought up the science project again. I know, it's a big day. I'm a little anxious about it. I'm sorry. Note to self, just forget about it. Sometimes our kids need us to give them permission to actually share their worlds, and they need us to be playful when they're not able to. And sometimes we're not always on the mark with our interpretation of behavior, and that can shut kids down or even bring on a more intense reaction. But if we're willing to look past that behavior for the moment, to get to the deeper issue, you're going to find that the behavior was purposeful, and in fact it was related to the stress of not having some need met, whether it was her need for competency, for understanding, to be left alone, maybe to be valued. And no, you may not have been able to do anything to prevent her reaction, but sometimes it's not about prevention, but about the concrete experience. This reminds me of an experience that my husband recently had. He was backstage. Our daughter is currently doing a run of Annie Jr., and he was managing the backstage one day. And if you can imagine what it's like to keep 20 to 30 kids quiet while the show is going on. Right? So this one day, one of the little girls, who is about 7, was having so much trouble just sitting still and not making a lot of noise. She was running around, she was going like this in people's faces, and she'd already been reprimanded by another stagehand and told she was bad by somebody else. And my husband went in with a different approach. He went in with a strategy to understand her behavior. And what he did was he went in and he said just what he noticed. I see you're having some trouble controlling your body today. We're backstage. It's important to be quiet, but I'd like to help you. Just with that invitation to connect rather than a direction which she was unable to follow, she unloaded all of these feelings about not saying goodbye to a friend and having to practice her violin later because she didn't get to do it earlier, and then worry about how her friend was going to think that she didn't like her, and on and on and on, spilled out her pain. But had he just focused on how she wasn't listening, or how she should just behave, or how she should just get it, he would have missed the opportunity to help her get control. By using tolerance and by building trust and by offering her an ear to listen, he gave her the experience of being cared for. And this experience created the safety that she needed to unload the stress that was interrupting her ability to pay attention, to follow those directions and control her impulses. So to everybody else, she looked non-stressed. She looked like she was just being naughty. But when someone else took the time to look a little deeper, she opened up. And that opened up the space for her to share what was really going on with her. And after that, she was able to shift. So Molly, that was my teachable moment for you. I hope that you found some insight into your daughter's reactions and some support on how to engage her when she's having trouble. Now, did you guys like this video? Because I would love to know. Please check out the conversation over at teachthroughlove.com and share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. You never know, your experience might just be the one that helps somebody get through a tough time that they are having. And if you want to get more tips and tools like this, plus my 5-part video series, then please make sure you're subscribed to my updates. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember, everybody, it's about consciousness, not perfection.